I want to be very clear, though, that our intelligence community and police are focused on extremism of every kind. Given global indicators around far-right extremism, our intelligence community has been stepping up their investigations in this area.
New Zealand is a lot of things. It's a steadfast U.S. ally. It's a beautiful and peaceful place with a population smaller than New York City. And yet New Zealand has been shattered by terrorism. The death toll tonight stands at 49 after a disturbed gunman fueled by white nationalism went on a rampage at 2 different mosques in the city of Christchurch. The gunman was well prepared, heavily armed. He posted a manifesto prior to the attack on the Muslim population, which he then live streamed on social media. Here is how the American president responded today from the Oval Office.
We see today white nationalism as a rising threat around the world.
I don't really. I think it's a small group of people that have very, very serious problems. I guess if you look at what happened in New Zealand, perhaps that's a case. I don't know enough about it yet.
With us tonight to talk about all of it, Malcolm Nance. He's a veteran of naval intelligence, U.S. Special Operations, Homeland Security, 35 years working in the counterterrorism and intelligence fields. Malcolm, number one, what struck you about this attack? And number two, if you were a U.S. government staffer writing remarks for the president to deliver today in lieu of what we just heard him say, what would you have him say?
Well, it's very disturbing, this attack. I actually taught in New Zealand counterterrorism at University in Wellington. So it's a very small country. Christchurch on the Southern Island is a very small town. It's not even a city. So it must have been devastating for the people of New Zealand to have an individual come from Australia, where they could access guns in New Zealand legally, and then mass murder 49 of their fellow citizens, many of whom are refugees. Again, this is devastating for them, but more devastating is the fact that it is exposed once again that there is a white nationalism international. There is a large group of people around the world. They are not small, and they have been carrying out attacks against immigrants with this belief that they are in a clash of civilizations between the white Western world and what they call invaders, which is any other person who is not white coming into their communities. If I were the president, I would have shown not just my disgust, but more importantly, shown that the United States stands with New Zealand and would offer any resources, but by actually coddling the white supremacists, he has sent yet another message that they have an ally with the most powerful man in the world.
He also used the word invasion today when talking about the southern border. And as you mentioned, that is a buzzword to that community. I want to read you something by a frequent guest on this broadcast, Sam Stein. Quote, "Imagine a world in which a Muslim terrorist group had executed an attack that killed 50 people. And the response from the president was to say, in essence, this isn't a big deal. It's just a small group of people." Malcolm, that's along the lines of what you were just saying.
Absolutely. And when we had the massacre in Florida, at the dance club, in which a person who supposedly claimed he was a member of ISIS, President Trump still references these attacks. The problem is in law enforcement, and I train a lot of law enforcement here in the United States, almost everyone in the Homeland Security here in the state of New York, including the SWAT teams, they don't understand that they are not going to have a clash with ISIS or the possibility of that on a day-to-day basis. These right-wing extremists, militiamen, posse comitatus believers, they go to guns. They want confrontation. Timothy McVeigh, when he blew up the Murrah building in Oklahoma City and killed over, the largest number of Americans killed in American history, 186 people, he did it with the same intention. He wanted to stoke a race war between white America and all the rest. And in the manifesto of this killer, he specifically referenced trying to get a race war and to inspire right-wing extremists all around the world.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.